All right. Okay, guys, just bear with me. I got a bit of a cold. I'm going to make sure I get this recording going so I don't forget. Thanks for coming, that's for sure. Yeah, what happened was we've been doing so much in the background with the system. It's gotten crazy good. It's gotten huge. And a lot of it was because guys pushed us. They really put our noses to the grindstone and made sure it came out right. Guys who knew what they were doing, really knew what they were doing, like been in the game for years, nationwide, industry leaders, just put our noses to the grindstone and made us come out with what, in effect, is this incredibly powerful product. And it's different. It's not WordPress. It's not Drupal. It's not Weebly. It's just different. It has different strengths. It has a different flair. But it's used by people who do incredibly well with it. And it's built very much because Google wants things built. It's built with modern coding. It's built to be error-free, and there's a lot to it that's made it incredibly powerful. Where we are now and where we're going. Then we caught ourselves talking to people about it, and they just don't know. You know, they just don't know why T2HA is different than anything. They don't know why it's better. So I thought I need to help you guys understand and give you guys a plan. And by plan, I mean this. Everyone, including me, sells software. Hey, here's this new piece of software. It's great. It does something cool. Go use it. Make yourself a bunch of sales. Everyone's doing that. But what's happened lately is a little different. It's, okay, sales are great for today. That's ramp money. What about tomorrow? That's retirement asset. How do I build something massive that I can sell properly? How do I do that? That's a little different than build some sites and toss them up for sale, like throw them on Flippa. But it's, how do you actually build? Build big. And that's actually what's been the basis of where we are. We're kind of in the middle of that right now, but you'll see it outright. And that's the kind of thing I want to talk about now because it's crazy. It's really, really good to be here right now. So without further ado, let me just start at the beginning. Okay, sometime back, some programmers showed me something that wasn't all that hot yet and said, can we do anything with this? And that was, you know, the root of what became the original T2H. And so they showed me, and I said, okay, it's not very useful yet as a CMS, but if you guys follow my instructions, we just kind of build this thing together, then we're going to make it into something very useful. And they said, all right. And we did. And it became T2H. And that was cool. We all had fun with it. Guys who got on it enjoyed it. A lot of guys who enjoyed WordPress said they quit using WordPress and started using this instead because it was so much better and easier. Okay, and that was nice, you know, pat on the back kind of thing. Now, we had a lot of fun growing it. We went through, what was it? It was 14 versions, 1.14, something like that, 14 or 15. And we did that in about a year. So we worked on the basis of theme to HTML for a year. Well, somewhere along the way, we also created some other things, you know, and one of them was a bulk subdomain creator. Okay, so while we had these things going, then people kept coming back and saying, can you do new things? Can you do new things? And of course, we like to really jump ahead in our minds. It's like, okay, when you ask, can you do something? Then we want to think 10 times bigger immediately, because we already know if we do it, then you're going to have the next level, then the next level is going to come to the next level. So why don't we just do it big right the first time? And so we said, all right, let's see what we can do. And we created T2H2 and then surprised everyone with that. And said, here, you know, all the biggest sites that you can find on the internet, you can do the same thing in T2H2 is kind of the angle, right? Guys got into T2H2. That was cool. Guys liked the fact that they could pretty much design whatever they wanted. Problem with T2H2 was it was pretty glitchy. So we had T2H was stable, but it only had one functional template, nothing artistic. And then T2H2 was really artsy. You do whatever you wanted with it, but it was pretty glitchy. And we weren't sure quite where we were going to go. And then we got a phone call that kind of changed everything. And what happened was a large industry called. We didn't know they were a large industry when they called. They just called this guy. Called and said, hey, I saw your video on the bulk subdomain creator. I see it creates subdomains. Does it also create related email addresses? I said, no, it doesn't. But if you're willing to pay for the extra programming, we can build that in. And the guy just immediately turned around and said, what else can you do? that's good, but what else can you do? And I said, well, we're kind of programmers. This is what we have. This is what we do. And the more they looked, the more they said, that's very, very good. You're doing something that we want done. Here's some money. And the guy, they got me on a phone with another guy real quick who just hit me with some quick browbeating time on the phone, like 15 minutes, just to make sure I actually knew what I was talking about. It was pretty cool. Within half an hour, they said, start this guy off and let's build something bigger. And what they basically said was, all right, we want you to build automation. I kind of suggested what they could build, and they went along with it and said, do it this way. And I said, okay. And they said, kind of the templates are going to be sort of midstream, but we're going to take what you have, and we wanted to automate exporting of websites. We want to be able to create websites and create versions of them and export them as efficiently as possible. We said, okay. And so we started in, and they just, like right when they got off the phone, dropped 500 in my PayPal, sent another 4,500 to my bank. They said, there's some kickoff money. I was like, okay, these guys are not kidding, So we got started. Now, that long story short, they kept coming back and they kept making us build bigger and more and do more. And they kept saying, you've got to make it cleaner, you've got to make it stronger, you got to make it more variable, blah, blah, blah. And they kept paying. So here's what happened, and this is wild. T2H took us about a year to build, and that was warm up. We didn't know it. And then T2H2 took us about half a year to build. We were better, but it was still glitching. We didn't really like it. Well, T2HA was 2,500 programming hours done within 3 months by guys who were working even 14 hours. We had 2 shifts with teams working on that thing, pounding away. And the result of it was a system that works at a high level, corporate level. Now, fast forward to where we are today. Let me just, I don't know, I'll just show you something real quick. This is for Locksmith, okay? Locksmith.info. Oddly enough, that's the group, right? Locksmith.info. Just to show you something real fast, and then I'll move on. But I just want to make sure you can mentally keep up with this, So here's like 68 templates. These are actually old style templates for old locksmiths nationwide. These are real locksmiths around the nation. This is the websites they had, but they were old style websites, not HTML5, not CSS3, not Bootstrap, not mobile friendly. They had coding errors in them and no admin panel. So we took websites that were just ever so basic, and we created them, and we created variations of them on demand by just updating old websites while maintaining the original look and putting admin panels on them, doing some really wild stuff with them, but making them modern, error-free, mobile-ready, hot-to-try HTML5 websites. And it's funny because we went through different groups of this. That's one panel with 68. That's where we actually got surprised too, because the original one, locksmithsites.info, when I look at that one, the original one, we built what wound up being 98 websites for them. That at first we were just thinking they were wanting variability to sell. Turns out they have that many clients, they have way more. And this is where we started to get more insight, came later. They kept sort of hiding a lot of information till later, and it just blew our minds as they kept building into it. But the reason for this was, and at one point they physically said it, they said, you can build 50 templates, hallelujah, we need 3,000. And it turned out they're not locksmiths at all. They're bigger than that. They have 5 other industries that they're working with in the back end, and they supply personnel who answers phones for all these industries. And they have meetings with these guys, and there's sort of a magic number for taking over the nation. That's 3,000 websites. You can believe that. Now, no one wants to pay to create 3,000 websites from scratch. So what they want is the base structure of tons of websites, and then they want to be able to mix and match them in such a way that they're quite unique, and for Google, greatly unique as well, and run them out. Now, what we didn't know, so we did these originally, and then they came back and said, now we got to update 68 old-fashioned sites, and then they said, okay, by the way, now turn around and create and wind up being 150 on another panel variation. It just endless. It was crazy. In the process, we learned a great deal. And part of it was this kind of thing. Wow, I mean, where do I want to start? Because there's so many ways to go with this. Okay, here's what it is. Got to have modern websites. These guys run with subdomains. We didn't know it, but there's 68 websites, those old ones, and their other clients. They have websites. The reason they even discovered the bulk subdomain creator was because they were by hand creating subdomains 700 in some cases, 700 times, well, 68 sites anyway. Now, you imagine the amount of physical work that takes when they take like 3 minutes each. It's like 2,100 minutes. You know, I'm not doing the math. I haven't done the math, but what is that? 2,100 minutes, you know, divided by, right, 60. And this is why the bulk subdomain creator was incredibly important. That's 35 hours, man. That's somebody a work week, you know. But these guys have like 3,000 clients nationwide that they feed. Matter of fact, I'll show you some screenshots soon that help explain the size of this thing. Anyway, here's the point. Why did they want us to build this? Because they've already been doing this for 7-8 years. They have thousands of websites out there for clients in different industries, working with different leaders. And now that Google is saying, update, they were one of the first ones to realize we're going to have to update all of these. And they thought we don't have some sort of structure for that. So they started by saying, okay, guys, to other Locksmith, we're going to be updating your site. So how many of you absolutely want or need to keep the same look, the same style? It wound up being like 68 by the time they tried to narrow it down, to try to talk it down to get it within a structure. They said to the rest, okay, the rest of you guys are going to create new websites, top level coding, and you're going to have, you know, whatever you need from it. They don't give admin panels to their clients because their clients don't want them, you know, but they set them up right. Now, that's pretty amazing. Let's talk about where that goes. Let's say you get one or more templates. And have you guys seen, by the way, I just want to make sure you guys know your way around the system, just enough to see what's going on. Like right now, you can come here and see what's going on. These videos are worth watching. Watch them. There's 2 links that lead to possible sales. One's the website store, okay? This is do it yourself. This is awesome. We're going to improve upon this and add to this as we go. The other is services, okay? If I go to services first, it's easier to see and understand, okay? T2HA competitor package, $13.95. Everything done for you. And not just that, but marketing as well, citation listings. There's more to it. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to say this. You can read the stuff on your own. Okay, there's that. Then there's variations. Some people say, what are variations? This is what that helps to answer. It kind of means that whatever you get built in here, and as powerful as it is, then you can make 3 or 4 versions of it. You know, you can make 3 versions of it for an extra $100 each that are different. We'll do the job of making them different and good for Google. Once the seed money's in there and we build the thing that big with everything applied, that's custom copywriting, no article spinning. Google hates article spinning now. Keep that in mind because Google sees it as plagiarism. Matter of fact, I'll tell you one little, I'll be telling you a lot of stuff here pretty soon. Black hat stuff, white hat stuff, why template stores, as a matter of fact, always use that lower MIPSum bet. And as a matter of fact, it's hard to get results sometimes when you're asking to see results from a template store. All right, so first of all, here's this. And the results thing, see if you can follow along with me. In the old days, we article spun. Everything was about article spinning. And so you create one article on one website. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog on domain.com. And then you wanted to create a new website. So you made it say something similar and spun it. So it said the rapid live brown fox leaped over the exhausted dog in so many words. Okay, now you got 2 websites where you spun the article. You know what? That was them. Now if you do it, what Google says is the second article stole from the first article, or the second website stole its content for the first website. And we fashioned some of the wording, but it's stolen from the first website. So article spinning in that sense is not going to be beneficial anymore. That's because Google hit latent semantic indexing capability and they can sniff it out. They can see it. They can tell. If you're trying to say lock, stock, and barrel, say it. Okay. Well, all that, by the way, was an answer to questions that people asked. Somebody would say this, and this is the big deal. This is what's changed. Somebody would say, hey, if I'm a plumber and I'm trying to pitch guys in Chicago and guys in Atlanta, okay, then I need that pitch to be identical for the Chicago guys here and the Atlanta guys there. I'll do subdomains. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you right now, industry leaders do subdomains. Those locksmith sites have up to 700 subdomains. You know what all those 700 subdomains are? Cities. City.thedomain.com. Another city.thedomain.com. You could go city-keyword. You could also go keyword-city. But if you're doing 500 or 700 subdomains on a single website nationwide already anyway, about whatever that topic is, may as well just make it city because it's already obvious what the topic is about. Okay, so on that website. Now let me come back to this. Old days, you would take a base article and spin it. Why did you spin it? Because Google said we want to see no two web pages look alike. The web pages have to have different wording. Wording has to be different. It's flatly what they said. Now the response was always, but that's stupid. The response of any plumber, roofer, electrician, everyone out there, even the opportunists online would say, but when I'm trying to give everyone my pitch, you're saying don't put all your keywords on one page because it's just too foggy and fuzzy and the Google can't figure out what the page is about if it goes, we're about this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that on one single page. But you say, in order to do it, you've got to create completely different pages, right? And that's weird because now we have to create a new pitch for every single page just to still reach our target audience. Google said, we hear you. Wait. We're creating latent semantic indexing. As soon as we have that down, then we can let you have your wish. And then one day they came out and said, ta-da, we've done it. Okay, and that's kind of it. They said, now here's what you do. One website equals one author. So when you get the website done, author the content. Don't spin it from another website. Google smells that. Just create new content. Get a copywriter to, get us to, or you do it. Somebody needs to make sure that what gets written on that website is different. You might say, but if I article spin it and it beats Copyscape, isn't that different? For Copyscape, yes. For Google, no. Okay, that's what latent semantic indexing is all about. Being able to forecast, predict, and see, do the shingle counts, compare, and recognize when somebody's spinning. Because spinning is plagiarism. It's plagiarism with a twist, but it's still plagiarism. So Google said, one website. Now, you might create one good article on one website, and that's the pitch you worked on or the point you wanted to make, and you made it as good as you could possibly make. Now, that you got that pitch done, now what? Create a new page and just change the keyword focus or just change the geography, change very few things. And if you are a plumber, you probably will change a few more things because for Chicago, you've got one guy, you've got a phone number to call, someone's going to drive your house. It's going to be a different guy than for Atlanta. That'll be someone else, okay? But this way, Google gets its job. It wants one page per keyword. Okay, whatever that keyword is or geo-targeted keyword is. But then you also get to have the same best pitch that you can put forward for everyone. The guys in Chicago, the guys in Atlanta, the guys in Denver, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's important to keep in mind. Big deal. So what happens if you create a second website? Completely different. So on one website, you can have thousands of pages that say basically the same thing with very few changes. Why do we like that? It's easy. I'm sure Lynn Campbell's in the room. And the thing about that is in the old days, we were paying $450 for editors like Lynn Campbell to actually sit down and bar out a bar sheet, like 400 bars, you know? Ton of work, big deal. Yep, she's in the room. She remembers them days. And that was the kind of work that it took to get the variability and go after huge numbers and stuff like that. And her work would allow people to create literally hundreds of thousands of pages, even millions of pages, based on a single article across lots and lots of websites. But now, Google wants uniqueness. Google wants the website to be different. It wants the content to be different. It wants the images to be different. It wants everything to be different. Okay, I'm gonna come back into that pretty soon. So one website can have thousands of pages, all with basically the same verbiage and very few changes, which makes the work a lot easier, a lot faster, a lot simpler. For those of you selling your services, you can look incredibly good when you rub 15 cities against 40 keywords. That's 600. And then you say, well, there's the residential version and the commercial version. It's 1,200. So you can create a 1,200 page website for a guy who's got just 17 pages on his website, okay, which means not enough pages, right? Not enough keyword. He doesn't have a page for every keyword he needs. And it would be better if he did. And you could get that work done inside an hour. So whatever you want to charge is up to you. That's the stuff we were talking about with MOWG, and it's really a big deal. T2HA goes a lot further than that. And believe me, this is going to ramp up hard as I get into it. Okay, so now you see, for if you got deep enough pockets, because this is the upper run, you know, this is what you can get. Okay, you can get something like that and get those. All right, now, what if you don't have deep enough pockets? Then you go to the website store. You say, where can I start? I want to start wherever it is I can start. So you go to the store. And what the store does is bring you down here. It's on the front page. It's just down low. Okay. And here is where we have added, and we're going to keep adding, more templates. Guys pay to get templates done for them. The great benefit is that now we can cross-weave with other guys and change these things up. And so everyone can get, they can expand. They can get access to other templates. The templates are going to be cheap. They're cheap now. They're going to stay cheap. Templates here range from $19 each to $44 each for extreme templates. And then I want to point this out because it's important to understand. There are functional templates and artistic templates and extreme templates. Functional template, just to give you the point. And if I were to view the demo, you can see this and understand it. Okay, this is a functional template. Okay, looks kind of old style. Okay, you can create thousands and thousands of pages on it. You can put all kinds of things on it. It is HTML5. It is validated against errors. This thing is up and it's ready to roll. And the point is, you can change everything on it. You can change the color scheme. You can change the background. You can change whether there's an image. You can change everything here. Whoops. Oh, that's funny. I didn't realize that was on. My Siri was listening to me. You can change everything about the site. You can change whether the sidebar appears and everything else. You can make variations on this all day long that appeal to Google. But it's functional. Functional means what? A lot of people look at this and go, it kind of looks old-fashioned, right? That's functional. So what's artistic? Okay, artistic is more like this. Okay, it doesn't have a sidebar. It's got its points up here. It kind of goes clean across the site, and then you can scroll down. And you might even say that still looks kind of simple. I'll get into why in a minute. It's because, well, I'll explain that in a minute. And then there's, of course, and a lot of templates are functional, but then there's, of course, like really, really artistic, which is still called artistic, but that means it's not functional. You're scrolling down, okay? You're going to scroll down to see what's going on the website, okay? And it goes on and on. All right, now, here's the point I want to make. Who are you selling to? Very often when you're trying to make a website, whether you do it for yourself or someone else, okay, because you got to have a plan, right? It starts with, do I have an idea what I'm selling? And I don't mean a half-hatched idea that I just stumbled across yesterday, because what good is that? All of you guys have worked in an industry. Some of you guys have been carpet installers. Maybe some of you guys in this room have been carpet installers, and you know that industry well. Other guys have been in the plumbing industry, other guys in the roofing industry, other guys in this industry, that industry. You guys all know an industry. You should have a pretty good idea what kind of website those guys ought to be offering. Now, here's the point. When you show a website to a carpet cleaning owner and say, hey, I can make one like this for you, okay, the guy might go, oh, that's kind of old-fashioned. Then you show him one like this, he goes, oh, that looks better. Now, here's the point. If you're selling to the owner of the company, then the guy might be thinking what turns him on. Do you get it? What turns me as the owner on, right? That's not the same thing as what turns on my clients, right? The guys who visit my website. Let me point out why that matters. When you land on a website, you want to see everything quickly and clearly in one spot. And you want to see it without having to scroll down, okay? You want to know whether they do this or do that. You want to know whether they're about this or about that, whatever their top things are. You want to see a sidebar pointing out what their services are so you can see if they do oriental rug cleaning. Okay, that's called functional. That means a guy like me who's looking for carpet cleaning to be done, I don't care if this website looks artsy. I want it to be clear, right? I want to see the phone number right away. I want to see everything about it right away. Okay, so sometimes savvy owners know that. And when you show them a website like this, it's more important to them than this. Because what's the matter with this? I may have to scroll down to see what they do. And I don't even know what I'm going to find down there. So it's like a complete gamble of my time. I have to keep looking and see if I can find what I'm looking for, whatever it is. Get it? Now, these are just templates the way they're put up here, so it doesn't matter. But again, they're roofing. But without scrolling down, how much can I learn about that? Very little. That's the difference between artistic and functional. Now, if you said, well, which one should I be offering to anyone? The answer is both. Because some guys say, I want to buy this. Other guys say, I want to buy that. And it's absolutely not your interest which they want. You're giving them what they want, unless they're paying you enough to suggest or recommend or advise them. Okay, and you might say, I realize you like this design more, but frankly, stop and remember, your guys who come on your website might want to see this. Okay, it's literally a question. All right, now that's just, there's the difference between artistic and functional. Functional basically is like this. Everything is in one spot. It's kind of an older style look. Okay, artistic means everything is spread out and you got to scroll down to see it all. That's kind of it. Now, there's the difference in price between $19 and $29. It's true that artistic's a little more involved. Heck, it's artistic. Okay, that's the difference in price. Now, when you get down to something like this is extreme. Okay, and also the donate theme up here is extreme. And when you look at these, you can tell why. There is a lot that goes into a template like this. Okay, and you have hover over effects like that that pull in. There's just a lot to it. By the way, this very thing won an award for being the best designed and best coded template. There was money paid for this design. I'm not going to get into where you can find it. I'm just saying that that's the reality check, is that this is an award-winning template. Just in case you want to, you know who voted on it? Designers. Every designer, and there were, I forget how many, might have been 500 or 600, submitted their best work, and they all got to vote on whatever it was, 1, 2, or 3, except for their own. They could not vote on their own. But they are the guys who come, they're the technical guys who are really peering closely and deciding what they do or don't like about it. Of course, by now we're to the normal pages that go in the back end. So nothing's really in there. Again, it's just a template. Who knows what you want it for? But it was voted on, it won an award. I'm going to show you a better one in a minute, or a different one. Here's the point though. We made another one like this for a lawyer. We could make another one like this for anybody. It could be a nursing home center. You name it. Literally everything you see here can work for basically any industry. This could be used for a roofer. It could be used for anyone. It could be used for an online opportunist. It could be used for an MLM program. It could be used for anything you want. Okay, now having said that, let me step back. Let me show you our other extreme template. We have 2 up right now. There's going to be more coming. This is the other one. If we view the demo, okay, I'm going to close tabs to the right. You guys can follow along. I'm just showing you this so you can see this stuff. Now at the top, nice, clean design. This took a lot of time. If you scroll down, you start to see something interesting. This is parallax effects, but things are moving at different speeds on the page. Do you see that? Different speeds. That's multi-parallax effect. Again, this is an outdoor survival theme, but this could be, we were talking to a guy today, pest control. So this could actually be about kill the bugs, and these could be little bugs running up the page when you scroll down. I mean, we can do it for any industry, okay? Keep that in mind. So if you're offering these things, if you're resellers, there are resellers out there. If you're offering these sites up, keep in mind that these sites can be made for anyone, okay? For any industry. If someone goes, I'm a roofer, but I really like this other template, you can make this site for the other template. When you scroll down, take a look at this. You've got 3 different outdoor survival scenes. One's a desert, and when we scroll down through it, then we wind up deep in a forest. See the coolness of the effect? And then when we go through that, we wind up deep in the mountains in the snow, right? Now that's cool. Again, cool effects. Here's the point. If it was pest control, this could be whatever. This could be like the living room, and this could be looking at the couch and seeing the bugs magnified. And then if you scroll down, this could be like the bedroom, and you're looking at the bed and you're seeing the bugs magnified. And then down in the basement, you're seeing the bugs magnified. Literally, it can be anything you can think of. Okay, that's how cool this stuff is. And this is a $49 template. You can go buy it. Now take a look. Survival backpacks. And the question is, what do you need in your backpack? Well, we got something you need here. This is what it's called. This is what it's all about. There's the picture. This could be clickable to the item. What else do you need in your backpack? See, there's something else, and there's something else. So yeah, you know, you're scrolling up and you can see this is what we're putting in our backpack, so to speak, right? The effect is clean, right? It's neat. And then up it scrolls. See that? And again, it can be for any industry. Just use your imagination, right? Now, okay, I'm pointing this out because that's cool. What's way, 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 way cooler? When you log in, okay, you can log into any of these with demo. Did you guys know that? You can log into any of these themes that you see on the page with demo, and you can see the back end. You can look at all the controls, all right? Settings. I mean, it's just absolutely insane, but you can see exactly how everything is controlled, where it goes. It's all organized. It's easy to build, manipulate, change everything on the website, okay? And then same with all the color schemes and everything else. Can you make incredible variability? Yeah. Can you make 1,000 different websites from this after ordering it once? Yeah, you can. Absolutely. There's no limits. Okay. Can you do subdomains for every city? Yeah. Can you make them all say the same or different things? Yeah. And so this is absolutely top level control. There's a control for stinking everything. When we got into variability, it became a big deal. And so it got built into the very concept of everything. And again, we're following a path laid for us by guys who are very big in their industry. And then when you download the feed form, okay, the feed file, the whole website is laid out in the tabs, all right? And you can make your variations automatically with that information. Okay, this isn't about how it works. There's videos for that. We have the videos up on the site. You can see how it works. Let me talk about where it's kind of going and how you think about it, because that's what's really interesting. First, let me just show you a couple of screenshots. I want to make sure you see something here. Okay, to answer the question though, why was it built? Because this is a corporate level CMS. What you were just staring at isn't a toy. This is for big industries with nationwide presences who have thousands of clients who they have to take care of. And all those clients have to rank on Google. And all those clients have to have top quality, top coded websites. All that foundation has to be right so that any kind of marketing they do that leads people to the foundation's got to be set. Okay, that's that. Now, these guys, as far as being big, let me just try to make some sense out of this. Okay, take a look at this. Again, we're talking locksmiths, right? What they do is they provide leads. And so when they get leads coming into them through all their websites, they have people in their office answer the phones and act like they're local in the city, you know, figure out what zip code they're in, be able to pull, you know, zoom in on them, see them locally, and then dispatch somebody to them. So look at this, just for the fun of it. 32 jobs in Portland, Oregon, where about 81.25% are closed. Okay, there's 26 are closed, and then 6 were canceled. All right. And so then the average ticket per job, 132.85, they make half the profit. So subtract the profit and then split them, or subtract the cost, split the money in half, whatever it was. Very often, not a lot of cost. Just somebody has to drive over, so you have gas and time. Okay. At the same time, in another city, 295 jobs, 228 closed, 59 canceled. Okay. Average ticket higher. Okay. Bigger city. Anyway. Then 85. These can be jobs for anything. It can be somebody got locked out of their house, somebody got locked out of their car. It can be somebody needs to change the lock on their front door because they just kicked the drunk husband out. It can be somebody had to evict somebody. It can be any of this, right? And then whoever it was that searched for the locksmith's got to see the locksmith and then call him. Yeah, I'm going to start to draw where all this starts to tie together soon because it's really pretty wild. And this is how big this gets. They are the guys who said, we want to keep this up, but we have to modernize the websites because Google's doing this rollout and they're going to require that everything is updated. And in order for this to keep happening for them, they need us to build what we're building the way we're building it. So it's interesting because we're doing it according to their needs. Let me just show you something else. Okay, so like one report for one technician getting for, I forget what it was, maybe the month. Their cut on it after the expenses like $20,500 for the one guy in the one city. Okay, for 1 month. Okay, and again, locksmiths is just one of several industries. Okay, now here we go. They're doing it here. Again, it's like 61,306 for whoever the techs were across these for whatever it was. It was like the last week, something crazy like that. Why were we going through these screenshots, by the way? Because guess one of the things we're building for? A dispatch system. And that's what this is that you're staring at. It's a dispatch and inventory control system. It's one of the things that we're building. Can it be used for different industries? Yeah. Is it going to become something that we make available when it's done? Yeah. So that's part of what's going on. And that just gives you a little insight into where we're at these days. The level at which we are operating these days is to make anyone this powerful. Literally, you don't need a dispatching system, but what you want is to sell leads to guys, right? If, for one example, or you want to rent them the websites that they use to get their own leads, or you want to sell them the websites that they use to get their own leads, okay? Or you want to do goodwill with them, okay? And I'll explain goodwill in a minute. What I want to go over next, sorry, there's so many things which, okay, here we go. Let me talk goodwill. Anyone understand what I mean when I say goodwill? Let's put it this way. Let's say you make a website. Just think real quick. How many ways can you start to make money with a website? Say you go and you choose your template. Oh, by the way, that's what I didn't do. I didn't explain how that works. The ordering form is like this. Here's where it gets definitely to fit any budget. Okay, you saw a demo. You're going to buy now. When you buy now, it does not take you to the services. Okay, that's service. That's full service stuff. No, you're buying a template. And the question is really simple. When you choose, it's going to start off by populating the template name. Notice that's how that went. All the templates have names. Okay. Whatever the name is, okay. You click, and it goes, okay, you're going to buy that one. Now, you just fill in the form, and it's going to ask you some basic questions, like does your website name number above begin with an F, A, or E? All right, it's kind of like to remind you where you got E. Okay, fine. So it's an E. It's a $49 template. All right, fine. Are you adding them to an existing panel? You can do that. You can do that. What's that mean? That means if you have one panel, you can just have one panel and you can add themes to them. Okay. Keep in mind, you might think, well, then why would anyone ever have more than one panel? Two reasons. One, you're actually coupling panels when you're giving these out or selling them or renting them or whatever you're doing. That's one. Second one is, and that way you can offer somebody a back-end access. Even if they never use it, people love knowing it's there, and it allows you to raise the price of your package because you are offering it, and people can have it and they can access it. I bought a treadmill and stuck it in my house, $1,400. Why? Because I thought I wanted to run more. You know what? That treadmill collected dust. It was sitting right there. You know, I dust it off every once in a while. I wanted to run more, but I didn't want to get that far away from my computer. That's why I bought the treadmill. But you know how often we just get a thing because we want to have it? Well, there are people, you may as well offer them a website, and you can offer them an upsell for a panel and show them through it. Now, maybe only one person in 20 will ever log into their panel and use it, but all 20 of them are going to be happy to buy it with the panel to know that the panel's there. That's the reality. As a matter of fact, that's the reality with everything everyone buys. Just keep in mind, it allows you a huge open door. Just an incredible open door to do things. Now, what's the second reason to have a panel? If you put templates on one panel, they all share the same basic information on the pages. It's just the way the well, it's just the way it goes. So for instance, web locksmith info, it's just, I'm pointing it out before I continue. Okay, and it's kind of small stuff. They have a lot of themes, right? All the themes have their own information. If I hit activate, okay, on one of these themes, I go to global settings, okay. Then when I start looking at the information, it's all different, okay? It's different. All these things are different. They say different things. And we can save all that information on each of these pages. We can save it. That's what we have a save feature for. But the pages, okay, these pages here are using the same information on every single page. And that was sort of the concept, is that the themes allow you to use all the different themes, but with the same page information. So if you have a second panel, of course, then the pages don't share information. They're all different. Eventually, we're going to fix that, though, so that the pages can be different, too. Right now, you can do it with the feed form you download. So when you download the feed form, you can simply put different information on the pages all the time. You can put them up in here. Or we can do it for you. Again, you can have us do it for you. Let me step back, though. Okay, so you can get hosting, 50 bucks if you don't have hosting. You need HostMonster hosting. We don't put hosting on like HostGator. That's because we found that every time we hit a new account, it has different permissions set up. It has things they need to install that they don't have installed. It has the old version of MySQL instead of MySQLi. And so HostGator, it works on some HostGator accounts, but not others. Well, that's a pain for our programmers, right? It will always work on the HostMonster account. It's where we originally built it, and all those accounts come out the same. And so they all have the same features. And so that's why we require it, because we know it's going to work right for you. Okay, it's worth it. Need the toolbar, need an admin panel. Do you want us to research and choose your domain name? Little bits and pieces. That means you can order what you want and not what you don't want. If you want to resize your own images, go for it. If you want to do your own content, go for it. You can go either way. You can do your images, have us do the content, or you can do the content, have us do the images, whatever you want. That's what this is here for. This is a brainstorm too. For you guys who are resellers, very soon this is going to be connected so that you can start bringing leads to this forum. You can literally bring leads to the website and earn your share simply because they choose what they want to buy, and then whatever they're buying, whatever it adds up to is the grand total when they buy. If they're throwing in some extra stuff, and some people, you wouldn't believe what they get, because we're getting people buy big and small, and it's really just a question of what they know, okay? Then you get your 25% on the net profit, of course. At this point, there's some things that are basic expenses, but they're not bad. Anyway, it's huge. It's a big deal, okay? Now, let me explain this before you think, okay, it's big, but is it that big? I want to point this out. We already reached a point building for our Locksmith clients where they brought in 5 other major industry leaders who all flew in and sat down and had a presentation. They're working through some of the follow-up stuff now because we're going bigger. Those guys are going to drop like $300,000 each for a program of which we are probably 20%. Okay, because there's more. However, we were 20%, but we're building more of it. We're building like the next 40% of it too, right? That's where I want to come back and kind of blow your minds with just how to think about this stuff. So what I want to say is this question: what is goodwill? You can sell a site to someone, you can rent a site to someone, you can give them goodwill. And with that in mind, here's what I'm going to do. 5-minute break, because I'm sure I swarmed your guys. How many of you guys want a 5-minute break? Just let me know. Before you take in a whole bunch of new information, like to refresh the coffee cup, because I'm going to show you what I mean by how you're supposed to build big and why this tool automates that, what it is we're doing and how far we are and how much further we can go. By the way, have you guys seen the T2HA toolbar videos yet for the Excel toolbar? That allows you to go as big as you want, create unlimited pages per website times unlimited websites. Okay, and subdomains. You could do 700 subdomains with 10,000 pages each per website if you want with that toolbar. It's so easy. It replaces the need to use MOWG separately. Matter of fact, MOWG's for other sites now. If you want to MOWG your T2HA websites, you'll use the T2HA toolbar more often than not. You could use MOWG, but why bother? Learn the T2HA toolbar. It's easier, and you can still do the same thing. That's pretty exciting. Guess why we built that? Because our corporate clients needed something easier to use. Okay, that was framed around this stuff. All right, let's take about 5 minutes off or so. I'm going to come back. We're still recording. When we get back, remind me to record. That way I don't have to record 5 minutes of silence. Somebody remind me to record, okay? Make a mental note. And then we'll come back and continue. And this time we're gonna talk strictly about growth. Okay? All right, see you soon. Thank you. As a matter of fact, I want to point that out too. Okay, we're back from the break. The ALC tool is just going to be out real soon. Man, what I really need to do is some more webinars just to fill in all the changes because there's so much to say. The ALC tool is going to be out soon. And when that's out, and we've been running it, that thing is pretty amazing. You can actually just have it contact thousands of companies in the background while you do other things. It's doing it online, you know? Yeah, I'll do questions at the end. That's a good one. Just because I've got time to kill and I want to get a sense for what you guys know and don't know. I mean, we got videos on the site. Go through them. Some of you guys have gone through the demos and you understand how the panels work. You realize they're pretty intuitive. Some of you guys just have great questions about how do I grow, sensibly. Let me go ahead and start walking you through some of that stuff now. And let's start with this concept. Okay. Where would you begin? You would get yourself a website. You'd say, okay, I got a website. You put it up. All right, that's one thing. Then you say, the next step, I got to make it a lot larger, right? To make a lot more sales, I got to have a page for every keyword. You go for that. Maybe go for geographically too. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's just keywords. Okay. Now, with that in mind, let's start thinking. How do you make a living? Okay. One, you make pages on a website to sell stuff. That's great. What else can you do? You make pages for someone else to sell their stuff. Okay, what else can you do? You make pages to gather leads to sell to other guys who are more than happy to buy. What else? You can pre-rank websites like across the nation. And if you have Stack Counter embedded in it or Google Analytics, you can see where the traffic's come and go and see where you're showing up on the front page. And then when you see where you're on the front page, who knows what, then you can go to page 2, 3, 4, because those guys would kill to be on the front page. And you can say, hey, I just picked some lucky company, because that's how you would do it. Pre-rank nationwide, download a list of nationwide companies, match them up on the run, and create a subdomain for each of them. Just a subdomain for each city, but just use some of these, that list of phone numbers, that list of company names, that list of email addresses when you do it. Right? Because you're just creating beneficial marketing for them, just period. And then you go look at your Stack Counter. As soon as you start seeing traffic hit, call that company and say, hey, I hope you're enjoying the traffic I'm sending you. If you want me to keep this up, then you can charge them an appropriate rate. It'll be $200 a month or $500 a month. It depends on the industry, how much they make when they land a call. How many calls you feel you're getting. I'm talking over with them. Or you can sell it to them. Or I'll sell you a copy of the website for $5,000. By the way, what does it mean to sell a copy of the website for $5,000? If I have a website and I export it, it will take me like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to set it up for another client and export it. Okay, that's what our global variables are for. I'm not going to try to get into all the technicals because I'm never going to get this done. That's what the videos are for. The videos cover that. And you can go to your global variables and set them up for changing the phone number in one spot for the entire website. Company name in one spot for the entire website. But then when you download the feed form, you can set it up for 1,000 companies at once. And again, I cover that in the videos to show you how. So you can see how. Okay, it's not hard. You can literally, like Reference USA, look up every plumber company in the nation and literally create a project on your website for every one of them nationwide if you really wanted. You could literally do it. You could do it in a day and really make it good. That's the power. Okay. Now, having said all that, let me come back to where I need to be. So let's say that you're for the fun of it, you created a big run for some industry you chose because you have a clue about it or something you like to do, and you ran it up. Okay, just went big. And you started watching for the traffic coming, right? then you can benefit guys there. You can use it yourself. You can take the leads and whatever you want to do. Some of you guys know how to do forwarding phone numbers on all the websites. Okay, fine. Then you think, how do I get bigger? The answer is create more websites, okay? And also put subdomains on them and have those backlink the first ones. Now that there are other websites about the same kind of topic backlinking the first, the quality score is really high for the backlinks because you have like content recommending more like content over here, right? So you can go nationwide on a website, then nationwide on another website that backlinks the first one, then nationwide on a third website that backlinks either the second one or also the first one, depending on how you want to think about it. Then you start to realize, wow, more websites, more power. Then you think, where does that take me? And the answer is you want to go cheaper and get bigger if you're making enough cash from sales doing whatever you're doing, whether you're doing it for yourself or selling leads or renting out websites, then you can get a server. And when you get a server, how much does it cost to add each next website to your server physically? What is the dollar charge to you? The cost of a domain name plus your time plus the optional cost of an IP address that you're going to have somebody else pay for, right? That if it's 30 bucks, then you're going to have them pay it. If it's 10 bucks for the domain name, it's either you have them pay the domain name or they pay you to research and decide a domain name. So it's going to be more than the domain name, you know. But you get a bunch of websites on your server. Now, here, let me explain this. How many of you guys have heard of Huffington Post? And you remember that Huffington Post got bought by Yahoo for like 2 billion bucks, right? How many of you guys remember that was in the news? And how many of you thought, gee, I wish I owned that domain? Wow, if I owned Huffington Post, man, it would have been huge, right? The answer is, what do you really think makes Huffington Post huge? A lot of people picture that Amazon or Yahoo bought one domain with a bunch of pages on it for 2 billion bucks. No, they didn't. Here's how a big website like that, a big company like that starts. They get like 1,000 websites and then they stick them all on one server, okay? And then they invite guys to come and writers to come and write on all those websites for free, okay? And so they get a flood of writers coming in, being like guest writers from this other website, you know? And so then they all go write across all these websites. And what's that do? They use all those websites to backlink one of them. So they bought like 1,000 websites to start and threw a dart at the wall to see which one they would make the leader. And it happened to be Huffington Post and not Harrisonburg Gazette right next to it. They said, okay, we're going to make all these other websites point at, well, we're going to be Huffington Post now, you could say. And so then they made that Huffington Post. And what they did was have all the other websites point at it, right? And then they allowed, and here's the point, they had a way to get in there for free and do stuff that was beneficial for the whole thing. So people came and wrote articles, and that's what made it big, right? Now, how can you do something like that? How can you start at the ground level and work up your own sort of thing? Obviously, you don't have tons of writers you can talk to, but anything. Here's how. When you put out websites and you go pre-ranking them across the nation, follow the leads and offer them up. You can offer somebody to buy it, rent it, or do goodwill. So what's the advantage? Well, in the old days, people would say, if you have money, you can pay me. If you don't have money, it's kind of useless to me. Come back when you have money, and that's it, right? What about guys who do the equivalent work for the money? And here's how that would go. Your goal would be this. Here's where it goes. Just making a lot of websites is trying to get a bunch of sales. Putting them all on one server, you can partnership link them together, and Google starts to treat it like an entity, a constellation of websites all working together. Google loves that stuff. So when you have a bunch of different websites, you can make them as large as you want. You can start off with them being small and grow them at different speeds. Then you have them all in one spot. You have them partnership link each other. Then what do I want to, well, Google sees it. Instead of one big website sitting out in cyberspace, it sees a stack of websites working together. That's huge. And that's exactly what these locksmiths are doing. That's why they want us to make all these variation websites. And they go across the nation and build their way up as they go, you could say, but they're to the point of having 3,000 clients. Now, here's where I want to get back to with that though. Let's say you go pre-rank a bunch of these sites. You see where they're popping up all over the place. You go and you contact some of those guys and say, hey, do you want to buy it or rent it? The guy goes, wow, I can't buy it. I don't have $5 grand. You go, fine, do you want to rent it? Well, I can't rent it either. I don't have $500 a month or $200 a month, but I'd love to have a site like that. Matter of fact, everyone needs a site like that now because they have old-fashioned websites. 95% of the nation's going to get beat down by the guys who realize to create the better websites. You can just win on sheer HTML5-ness at this point. Just the fact of having an error-free website on HTML5, CSS3, and Bootstrap, you go nationwide with that. Then you create another one. What's that? $10 for another domain if you're on a server. In our case, it's like $50 for another hosting account. But then you can go nationwide with that. Okay? You can do another one. The point is, as you build them up, go check your stat counter. You're going to see that you're getting more traffic and more cities go. And you can say, buy it or rent it, or Goodwill. So here's the thing about Goodwill. If the guy can't afford to pay you, what do? Say, fine, I'll let you have access to it each month in exchange for you doing something for yourself. Here's how that'll work. You're going to have them go out and put out directory listings. Simple, like 20 a month, one a day on the weekdays. Okay, they just need to show you a list of 20 that they did for you to approve, and they do that in lieu of payment. Now, do people usually have more money or more time? If I ask you just flatly, right? Are they willing to spend more or to work harder, right? Well, there's both ends of it, but here's what happens. You're going to go wide. You're going to be renting. Okay, you're going to have one website, and the guy's going to be paying you $200 a month. That could be in Atlantic City. Another guy's paying you $200 that's in San Francisco. Another guy's paying you $200 that's in San Diego. But you got a guy in Denver. Instead of paying you $200, he's doing the equivalent backlinking work by going out and listing his site that you're letting him borrow. Okay, in the local directories. By the way, can you do all this on subdomains of one website? Yeah. In other words, you can start as cheap as one website and build up from there. You can rent a subdomain on a website for $100 a month or $200 a month or whatever. You can let a guy have access to it free as long as he backlinks you each month and shows you the list of what he did. He can't go out and do link farms. You just got to go to Denver directories. If it's plumbing, and he looks up Denver plumbing directory, and he just gets listed in some of them and shows you the list with the links. And you're like, okay, that's great. Now, here's the best part. The guy's backlinking himself, so he doesn't feel like he's doing it for you. He feels like he's doing it for himself. Okay? But what are you going to have? The bottom of the website and the footer. This website, a proud member of the, whatever, the U umbrella or the U affiliation. You get the idea of that? And that means all those websites are going to have a link back to your master website, which you may or may not even really actively promote. Okay, it's going to get link juice into your master. What does your master do? It has a page on it for all the partnership sites out there that you're working with. So it's got a list of all the sites. Now, what's that going to do? That means the guys who are paying money are getting link juice from the group. Okay, and so they're paying money so they don't have to go backlink themselves. Why does it work? Because you have other guys that are going out there and backlinking themselves so they don't have to pay the money. The guys who are going out there with their hands and backlinking what's going to be your network hub of websites is going to make the whole network hub full of link juice and powerful, and it's going to cover all the guys who are paying. So you're getting some guys to do the backlinking work to cover for the guys who are paying. Okay? Now that is how big this gets. Now let me tell you, oh, and what's the point of all that, by the way? Just before I turn around and step into something else, what I want to point out, I just want to say this. When you're, sorry, I'm kind of going through all this stuff in the chat box. It's great. We'll do questions. What do I want to say? Hold on, because I'm going to jump to the next topic in just a second. Oh yeah, the whole reason that you would build all this up, and especially the whole reason you're trying to get a server and put all your websites on it, is you're trying to create your own extremely competitive stack of sites with a nationwide presence. Because one day Your competitors are going to be blown away that you're showing up right next to them all over the place, and they don't know why. All they know is they got to offer you a buyout. There's your plan. Your plan is you grow until one day you quit collecting rent money and you're looking at selling the retirement asset. Literally, you are really going to sell a stack of all those websites that other people are paying for on your server, for example, if you get that far, if you do it that way. There's lots of ways to do it. That's one great one. And that can be for a lot of money. That can be for your $10 million. That can be for more. In the meantime, whenever people are paying you rent, what's that covering? It's covering the cost of your server. By the way, think about it. Here's what's normal. What happens whether you give guys goodwill or rent the sites to them? If you have them on your server, then they got to owe you hosting every month or every year. Once a year, they got to pay hosting, right? Just needs to happen. Somebody's got to pay hosting. You got to pay hosting. You got to pay for your server. Well, if your server's costing you $1,800 a month, then you have whatever you're doing with hosting with those guys. You got 100 guys. Most of them are free. You know what I mean? Then that's 100 guys paying you whatever it is you're charging a year, $80 a year. Let's say $1,000. So there's icing on the cake money too. All right, now what I want to say beyond that is here's the black hat way that this is done. This is going to blow your mind because this is part of actually what we're building too. It's kind of wild. We're not building black hats, just you can use things in a white hat or black hat way. Let me just say plumbing companies, okay, New York City, okay. All right, now I can't see it in a case like this. Plumbing company is New York City, plumbing services. Okay, sometimes you see the small dots as well. I don't know why I'm not seeing it right now. But the point is there are tons and tons and tons and tons of them. Okay. And I'm not going to get it to show up, I don't know why. Tons of them. Here's the point. Most of those websites, right, what people are doing is creating websites on every street corner. How many streets do you have in your city? Most of those websites are created like on showing an address that doesn't exist. It's in a strip mall somewhere. Instead of Suite 102 or 103, it's like Suite 201, even though there is not a second floor. Now, you might say, okay, what's that do for you? Because here's the first thing. If you're creating a lot of websites, people can put them into Google local listings. You know, all the websites guys have on our servers, they can put in Google local listings. That's awesome. That's really great for your server, by the way, if you have a stack of websites working together. But if, and everyone says this because they know this, they've already been there, done that. They'll say, yeah, but if you create, you know, addresses fake like that, and Google's sending you the postcards, right? The answer is, yeah, Google would send you the postcard, so you cannot go applying all those sites to Google local listings. But guess what? If you create 1,000 websites based on one website, and or whatever, 100 websites, and you're doing it with just either different domains or even subdomains, and you're setting them up differently, and you're setting them up like franchises in different cities, then you can use addresses, fake addresses if you want, for the purposes of getting listed in different directories. Google may send postcards, but Yellow Pages doesn't. Okay, Merchant Circle doesn't. Bing doesn't. Okay, generally speaking, there are hundreds of what are called citation listings, directories that you can get listed in that don't check your address, and so you're just a Suite 10, or 119, even though there isn't a 119. Now, the reason I pointed this search out in the first place, this is exactly what these same guys did for plumbers to get them rich and get rich too. Is they created like 100 companies that didn't exist, pointed at one company that did, okay? And the point of the other companies is to get the link juice to the one that does exist, all right? Now, that works for companies, obviously, where no one's expecting you to walk in the door. Locksmiths come to you, plumbers come to you. Couldn't do it with Dennis, right? Wouldn't make sense with Dennis. But here, now that I've pointed out the black hat way of doing it, and by the way, don't blame the player, blame the game. That's part of Google's mobile get-in. It forces everyone to do it. Why? Because if your business is here and your competitor is over here, and somebody in the middle whips out their cell phone and searches, they're probably going to show up before you unless there's a way you can have an address closer to that person than them. That's the whole reason for the black hat angle. Now that's the black hat angle, and yes, you can do it. and you can do it and get huge with it because you're really doing it for link juice. Okay, everything else is using forwarding phone numbers to you. Do big companies do that today to get rich? Yes, absolutely. This is not one guy. This is like the whole industry. Don't blame the player, blame the game. Now, what is the white hat equivalent of this, by the way? There are a couple of ways to do the white hat equivalent. It's like the goal would be to do it the white hat way. What is that way? It's this. Let's say I'm a plumber over here, and I see there's a hairdresser, like a barber over there, and I say, hey, how's this? I'll set up a website for each of us or whatever, okay? And I'll put, we'll claim that I have an address where you are, and you'll claim you have an address where I am. So it'll be a second website. Now, of course, with a hairdresser, somebody goes there. It's got to be someone else I use for the example. Well, what's the point? Then you're just sharing leads. Okay, so you could use a bunch of existing companies, and then if they were like Suite 103, then the idea of Suite 113 would really just mean that they set up the pseudo cubicle in the back of their office that represents your business, where the mail might come in and they would give it to you. But they're going to recommend people to you. You're going to recommend people to them. So that's the white hat way of doing it, is that they have a website for you, right? That forwards to you and they get their cut. You would just give them whatever kind of a cut or an agreement or run their website or something like that. Okay. So there's that. Now, what's another way to do it? Go out and do the goodwill bit. Go out and give a bunch of guys websites, and then have them either pay you rent money or go do the elbow grease equivalent of doing directory listings in order to get your name out there, and then anything that shows up that comes through them, they get a cut. Now that is a lot of what these guys were doing. As a matter of fact, this whole thing with the dispatch bit is based on that. When they're talking about where the jobs are coming through and who's getting them, they've got a list of who's getting their percentages, and that's for the guys set up running not just one website, but a massive stack. Okay, now that I've pointed that out, let me step up to the next level. What's next past creating a whole lot of websites? And these are things that we're actually getting ready to build. These are things that are on the table, and we're doing them in a certain order. Okay, we got a dispatch system, a directory system, and a citations listing system because Google wants to see it all. Think this one through. What if you create a bunch of websites or subdomains, okay, or domains that are add-on domains in your cPanel, and you're doing this for the sheer exposure nationwide? You can do that. What if you're doing it and all of those are also getting added to a directory, okay? And that's this. Here's the subdomains. We're going to put all the websites. It's going to be on this tab, all the variations of the website on this tab. If you've guys seen the videos on our site, you know what I'm talking about because you've seen how that works and you understand what this is all about. That's why I'm not doing it on this sessions, because the videos are on the website that explain how this works. Of course, if you're getting work from us, we're doing it for you and handing it to you on a silver platter so that you see how that goes. Okay, yeah, can you go 1,000 websites down or subdomains down? Yeah. How much would it cost you to create 1,000 subdomains on a website? Okay, like for 1,000 different cities in the nation, okay? And you paste it in the list here. The $10 that the domain cost you, right? Plus the one hosting account that you put it all on, okay? It's cheap. You build as you go. How much does it cost to get an add-on domain and put it on your route? How much does the add-on domain cost? $10, right? The domain. You apply it to your root domain. Can you put add-on domains? Can you get another $10 add-on domain on the root domain? Sure. Another one? Sure. You can get 1,000 add-on domains if you really want. How can you put subdomains in your add-on domains? Of course. So you can put 1,000 subdomains on one add-on domain, another 1,000 on another add-on domain, another 1,000 on another add-on domain. You can do it. And with this tool, it's automatic. You can do it. You can put in your lists of data, and it's all arranged. To make sure you arranged it all, and then just upload it and let it get built. Just walk away and let it happen. Now, here's the point. We get through with all the settings, all the styles, all the pages, everything, right? The entire website is on row 3, all right? For anyone who hasn't seen the videos, that's what these tabs do. Everything in the admin panel is on these tabs. When I downloaded this file, it automatically filled everything in for me. It made the whole website exist on row 3. And variations go on other rows. And I can download those variations. I can create those variations. I can switch between images, colors, coding, everything I want. Now, Here's the point. What if we have a new one? There will be a new one, and it's going to be called directory. And guess what that's going to do? It's going to be paste in the company name, the company address line 1, address line 2, the phone number, the website, whatever it is. Okay, and then like up to 7 custom images. Okay, and some other eyeball things, logo links. And what do you wind up with? As you create the websites, they automatically add themselves to a directory that you have for that industry, which you are going to be able to open up for other people to come and add themselves as well, and they can pay you for access to your directory. You make a directory large just by auto-populating your websites, and by making your directory large, it draws the attention of others who also come and get added, because everyone's looking for good directories for every industry. Okay. Now you can use one thing for every industry, and you can clone your directory for every industry. That's where this is going, right? How many of you guys also have thought about it this way? You can create a bunch of runs in the back end just to sell backlinks. So you can go tell people, hey, I can get your link on 1,000 related or 100 related or 20 related plumber sites, okay, across the nation. They'll just refer you because you're outside of their competitive area. And then guys will pay you to put those links up. And you're putting them up on the ones that you're creating. You know, you can do it with subdomains or whatever, but you can create a backlinking system that you can use actually to offer your own backlinks for a guy's industry. Okay, what comes beyond the directory? Citations. It's another thing we're building. Imagine if, as the websites are created, automatically it creates the Bing entry, the Yahoo entry, the YouTube entry, the Merchant Circle entry, the whatever entry, Google Plus, and we just keep adding those. It's going to be, by the time we got an order for 25 to start. Okay, there's like 500 worth adding to. And so when you're doing this, you're doing so much of the stuff that Google wants. Google wants to see websites get listed in places like directories, so you should be in them. You have a clonable directory. Imagine what that means. It means you could actually have 5 or 8 or 10 different directories that look all different, feel all different, but they're fed from here. This feed form is really, really, really important. Pretty soon we could have tabs like directory 1, directory 2, directory 3, citation stack 1, 2, and 3. And we can apply the websites in any combination throughout all of this. Okay, this is where all this is going, right? This is what's happening there. Anyway, it's really huge that way, and this is going to be our biggest bit of bread and butter, yours and mine, because of what it can do and what we can attach to it, where we're going with it. Okay. All right. There's a lot more I could show. Let me just show one last thing for the fun of it, because it's kind of neat to see this. There's WC-1, and then I'll open it for questions. Theme2HTML.com. Okay. And if we go there, I'm just going to show you some real quick. Again, part of the variability that's automatically controlled on the feed form. All right, take a look. This is a gradient, right? Everyone's always thought gradients are kind of a pain in the neck. I'm going to start with one color and with another. You got to find the image somewhere, right? We don't have to anymore. Okay, this is something that's just part of the way it's done now. Watch this. Let me open that in a new panel. If I wanted to create a variation, I want to have a different look to that. This is just something we found interesting. Check this out. Header style settings. We have background color 1 and background color 2. That means we go from here to here. So let's look at this again. It went from a dark orange to a light orange. Say I want to flip it. You know, then I could like literally flip it, right? Okay, I can put that there. I can put this here. Control-X, Control-V, boom. And then if I save the change, whichever way I want to go to do it, okay, it's flipped. It's upside down. Let's say I want to do a whole different thing. Could I do blue to blue? Sure. You know, so I might just kind of like change this for more of a blue, get like from a dark blue, you know, to a light blue or whatever it is. Okay. All right. You know, update. But then you might say, and again, this is controlled automatically. You're producing these things and they're going to look different. The image is different, the colors are different, the logos are different, what it says up here is different, phone number is different, all these things are different, the colors of them, the font awesomes are different. And you can produce them automatically with that feed form. which of course I move now. The Excel feed form. Again, I can reproduce it just by downloading it. Okay. All right. So there you go. There's our sample feed form. And this covers all these settings in this entire website. Okay. Now, if I wanted to just go completely different colors, of course I can do that too. I think you guys see that part. Okay. So if I wanted to go from like just who knows what, like I wanted to go from, you know, like a dark green or something, or light green, and I want to end up on like a dark purple, you know, it doesn't matter. The point is the variability is as far as you want to go. Okay. And so you can satisfy Google by creating uniqueness. That's what we did. We made this tool so you can make websites so different from the starting point that Google is content to see them all. Google is content with them and will continue to rank them because they're all top coded. Okay. All right. So you can take some guy from page 3 where all the page 1 and 2 guys, or the page 1 anyway, have lousy websites. And you can take some poor guy on page 3 and make 30 or 40 websites for him that are all top coded automatically. And then just give them to that guy, rent them to that guy, do goodwill with that guy, right? You know, and if he doesn't do the goodwill, he should pay you the rent money, right? Or if he's paying the rent money, but he's got to take a month off because he's tight, he could do the goodwill. You know, that's how that goes. All right, let me do this for the fun of it. Whoever's got a question at this point, just say something like Q, so I know you got a question, because we should be about done here. I mean, we've been at this for a while, right? Hour and a half. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up questions. And before I do, let me just, I think Philip, do you want to say anything? Because you've been working with kind of some of the stuff I do, and you work on some big stuff in the background. There's a guy here. He does, you know, large stack YouTube videos and stuff like that. That's a good one. Let me go ahead and pop it up for questions. Let me see. I want to bring Phil in. Let me see. I don't know if you got a headset. If you guys got headsets on, I can pop you in so you can ask your question if you want. It'll be for fun. Hey, Phil, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, that's cool. So, all right. Well, first of all, what do you think real quick? Do you find this interesting? Because I know you're technical.
Well, I've been with you since the T-Fan days, so all of this stuff I think is just amazing. Some of the stuff that, a lot of the stuff that I tried to do manually before you got to this point, even using MOWG, is just a million times easier now.
That's cool. Thanks a lot. That was the core programming of this wound up being 2,500 man hours, you know, and it's because someone dropped the seed money for us to build that big. That's where we went. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for telling me. I mean, we're going to keep on going as we go. It'll get more amazing. Wait, okay. So what's your question?
Well, so I guess I don't really have many questions. I mean, I think, if everyone watches the videos that you put out on your YouTube channel, because those, I mean, you're full of a lot of information, and you usually put all of that into your videos. So, the videos are long, but they're full of great information. If you watch them, you will get all kinds of cool ideas, just like we got out of this one here. But I guess the only question I would actually have for you is, are you looking to maybe for the contact us pages to maybe do something with Aweber or, etc. integration?
Let me see. That's a good point. Right now, it's just the modules are the modules, right? And if you know how to implement those, it's pretty easy. You go, the way the modules works, you see your modules and you have them here, and they all have their own names. Testimonials, contact us, book appointment. And so when you go to a page and you want to make the module appear anywhere on the page, you just put that name in with its curly brackets. It's something we covered in one of the videos, I forget which one, just to kind of like make the point really, really quick. And so, for instance, to make the contact us form appear on the contact page, okay, which means it's here, okay, I could put it down, I could put it up, I could put it at the top. Doesn't matter where I want to put it, I just got to decide. Then I'm using this, okay, whoops. And yeah, all this stuff can go on the feed form too. Global variables work all throughout the feed form. For guys who figured that out already, that's nuts, you know. So contact us. So all I do is I added that in the page and I clicked the module. By doing those two, it tells the system this is not print. It's not just a misspelling. It is meant to be, in fact, a module. All right. And if I wanted to move that module just real quick, I mean, it could be anywhere I want it, right? So, you know, how modules should work is be that easy. Then it's going to be there at the top instead of the bottom. It's going to be wherever it was I put it. All right. And I could take the header off if I just don't want it up there twice. Just drop the header from the top of the page in that case, right? Boom. Whoops. Undo. It picked up on the formatting there. So just bring it down and whoops, bring it up. There's a couple of ways to do that. One is just to create an extra line break and do it that way. Let me see. Or just take it and bring it back to paragraph. Normal. All right. Anyway, wow. And so then, you know, it's however you want it to go. But here's the point. And on the pages, you can decide which pages you want the sidebar on and which pages you don't. That way, when you're on a buy page, you're not distracting people by having a sidebar on, because that can be distracting. You want them focused on the buy, right? Now in the module settings, all you have to do is go in there to the Contact Us module, it's the one we use, and use your own email address, not mine, you know, and go get your logo, just pull it up from the site, right? Just choose the image, browse the server, grab your logo. I want to make one point real quick too that's really, really important. I forget what the logo is for this thing. Might be it. Okay, whatever. I'll just use that one. Some are white on white, so they just look white on white. Because whatever. If I had a mailer logo specifically, I'd just use it, you know. Anyway, all right, let's say this. I want to make a point about the images. This is really, really cool. When you talk about the importance of getting the website done right, this will just rub it in real fast. Watch this. Here was like one of the most glaring examples I saw. BangerNRC.com, I think it is. And this right here. Okay, old style site, right? We're talking about getting a new site. We're talking about. See this? This image, all right? This site doesn't load with it doesn't rank well at all. And it doesn't rank for a lot of reasons. I want you to say something. Let me open this image. It's this big. It's actually, this is even small. This is 60%. So this is an image that is not losslessly compressed, right? Lossless compression means, and this is important for Google, Google will not like the size of that image, right? It should be this small, but it's way, 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 way bigger. It's being forced to upload into this tiny little square, which resizes it down. What's the problem with that? Google says it slows down the loading of the page, therefore your competitors are probably ahead of you. One thing you need to do to rank better is simply lower the size of the image to an appropriate size. Therefore, the page will load faster. And since it's the main page, it will help the rank of the website all the more. And you will probably override a couple of competitors in rank just because of that, literally. Now, having said that, how does it work in our end? I'll show you because this is just kind of cool to see. Let's say I wanted to get something new, who knows, an image, logo. And of course, I don't have any sitting on the side. So I wasn't trying. Okay, let's just say I was going to upload like some of those dispatch images. Okay. I mean, I'm not. Well, I will. I mean, I don't have any reason. All right, just let me set this up real quick. Let me say, I'm trying to make this so you can see it. Let's say I want to grab some of these images, all right? Maybe I'll do like a control click and just grab some of these images. Boom, boom, bitty, boom, boom, boom. Great. Now, how do you get them uploaded? In the old days, you used upload, right? You did all this stuff and browse to it and everything else. Close, but I don't want that now. Now, I just check mark all the images I want, and I drag them, and it just goes wham, 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 wham. They're all up all of a sudden. And what's the coolness of that? They were losslessly compressed in the act, so I don't have to ever think about it. I don't have to worry about it. They were compressed down to an appropriate density without becoming fuzzy. But that way my site will just naturally be more competitive automatically because of the lossless compression, okay? So it's one of those things that's completely built into the system because it is a corporate level CMS. top of the line. That's where we're going, and that's what we're aiming for. It's different. I asked somebody once, how does it compare to something like WordPress? They said, aside from the fact that it's so easy to understand everything in here, okay, once you get used to it, it doesn't take you long to get over the feeling of being all pumped. Said they don't have global variables in WordPress. They don't have anything like global variables in WordPress. They don't have export the project in WordPress. You cannot just export your project somewhere. Like right now, I can literally, look, MOWG-samples, okay, if I do it manually, okay, here's one website sitting here, all right, on MOWGsamples.com. And if I just said, okay, I want to make sure, see how my website's going, I'm going to MOWGsamples.com, okay, and I'm just going to get my SAMP details for uploading it, temp pass, okay, and connect, and it's going to connect to that website somewhere else, and I want it to go here in the public folder, and I'm going to upload it, okay, and it just finished. So now when I go back to MOWG Samples and refresh the page, I went from the old website to the new one or whatever, okay? There it is. If I wanted to put it on a subdomain, I would create the subdomain folder and put on the subdomain. With the feed form, it automatically creates all the subdomains, whether on top level domains or add-ons. It creates them all automatically. You just decide what you want them to be. You don't need to go create them. They're done automatically. And it creates the email addresses for those subdomains automatically according to your rules. We have instructions for that when you download the form and you go to use it for the first time. But literally, the reason that these guys came to us, they said this export function is awesome. I can go set up a website, then I can export it, and I can put it somewhere. And then I can go set up another website, I can export it and put it somewhere. And they said, but I need to do all of this automatically because we have to do thousands. And we said, all right. And so we created the bulk export utility, because this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to global settings. You're going to download your sample feed file, download it. You're going to use the toolbar with all of the functions it has to make that thing as massive as you want, okay? As ready as you want for as many subdomains as you want. It's all going to be automatic. You're going to go through the steps and do it. We have all the videos for this. And then you close it. Now you got it lined up, maybe 5,000 subdomains or whatever, like 100 subdomains, 50 pages each, 5,000 page run you're doing for the fun of it. And so what do you do now? You say, I got my feed form ready. I'm going to go to the bulk export utility and add a new job. I want to be notified when it's done, and I'm going to go grab that file, wherever it was, would be the idea. And as soon as I hit upload on that thing, that's the point, like wherever the feed form was, right? As soon as I hit upload on it and save it, then it's just going to go doing it, and it's going to give me a record of it, and it's going to show me everything that's been done. And I'm going to see a log of all the ones that are done, all the ones that are not. Let me just see if I can see something real quick. I can show you if I can see it. Hold on. Okay, let me just see. Boom. Boom. Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's just an example of one that was done recently. Okay, take a look. Here we go. All right, check this out. If I go to the, not themes, hold on. If I go to bulk export, and I was just looking at something that was done, for instance, here's an example of 46 of them that were done, okay? And when we look, it's going to literally give us that log. And the reason for the email was to email us. Everything green, everything was done. It created the subdomain, uploaded to the subdomain. It created the email addresses. If there were any email addresses it was told to create. It created the forwarding to the guy's normal email addresses in the act as well. So all of that was done just automatically by uploading the file, okay? And look, this is what it is. It's a root domain, subdomain. The subdomain just straight goes through the cities just like that, right? That's the whole thing. Get it? So this is the way these jobs go, just automatic like that. That's the point. This is no joke. It's no joke, huge. And this is what makes this really, really important. Okay, I think that's kind of neat. Let me see what else we have for questions. Okay, Aweber integration. You can put Aweber into the sidebar modules. You can stick Aweber code snippets straight into the web pages. You can put Aweber code snippets into the the boxes that show up on the front page. A lot of places you can put it. If you need something custom, let us know. So you just define it to say, this is what I need. What will it cost? Won't cost much. Just let us know what it is. Let me see. How do you use this for an MLM or replicated sites, right? Then that could be really unique. Yeah, that's awesome. As a matter of fact, there's a guy just either doing it or did do it. And I'll just show you. I don't care because he was like open about it. He was like, join my thing. It's an easy sell. Okay. Now, I don't know if he got around to doing it or not, but this guy right here set this up. This whole website here was set up. This might have been based on the donate thing. Matter of fact, it might have been based at least partially on the donate thing. For those of you who hadn't thought about it, that's what I mean. Set it up to sell some very specific things, and he's got a massive downline. Can he create a subdomain for each affiliate? Yeah. Can he have code tracking, visitor tracking? Let me see. Let's see if I still got access. All right. And if I did go in here, okay, right there, code script at the bottom of the page. You can put any number of code scripts in here. You can have a bunch in there. He's got one, which means he's seeing traffic. Now, if he goes creating more pages and more pages and more pages, like on different subdomains or even different websites, they're all going to carry that script unless he changes it website by website on the feed form. Maybe he's got a stack of scripts that pastes into place. And the point, he can see where the traffic comes from, and when they buy, he can know which affiliate it was who bought. Okay, that kind of, or you can set these up specifically for affiliates. So create different websites for different affiliates. By the way, we have admin systems. Matter of fact, I mean, the last one you're not going to see, the new one's not got hardly anything in it because we haven't opened it up. But just to show you, this comes standard with full-size runs, just so you can see it. This is an admin system. It tells me who's user, okay, who they are, what they own. I can issue them a new license by hitting a button. Notice I issued a bunch for me because we did the T2H2 migration, T2H2 to T2HA. By the way, all those guys, we've taken care of you. If any of you still do not have access to your T2HA panel that has your T2H2, your 4 themes on it, let me know so I can get you access. You're free. You're ready to roll, okay, with those T2H2 upgrades. Those are done. All right, so as we open this up, people are going to get in. Now, here's the point. What do I want to say? If I step back, we can apply coupon codes. So you can create a code, add a new coupon code. You can say what the name is, whether it's a percentage or fixed, whether it's got a value, what the value is in dollars or a percent. You can decide if it's valid up to a certain date. It can start like tomorrow, okay, and it can go for, who knows, like a week, and you can save it with whatever the name was and everything. Then that coupon code, you give it to people, and when they offer it, they are going to get whatever it is that you're working out with them. The discount type is off the sale. So if people use the coupon code when they buy, they get the percentage off. What's that mean? Means this. If a guy comes, say, and they go to buy, and they go to fill this thing out, there's where the coupon code goes. By redeeming it, they get that much off, okay? And then when they buy, it gives them the discount, and you saw which coupon code was used, which means you know who you assign that coupon code to, okay? Especially because the native coupon code automatically is specifically their affiliate link. You know what a discount or the default coupon code would be? Let me get the right spot. Okay. Actually, okay. This is the default coupon code aside from creating them. There it is. That's a default affiliate link. Click that and it says, hi, congratulations for using this link. You can buy now with a certain amount off. Okay. We haven't finished setting the one up on this new system yet because we just got this whole new system thing done and organized. But this entire system that you have where you get to create packages, decide the prices for them, put them out, and organize them is part and parcel to what you get when you're buying the system from us. Because most everyone always should have an affiliate system or referral system of some kind on your website, right? You should have one. You should have a coupon system. You should have an affiliate system on your website, right? It makes it incredibly easy for you to go to YouTube and say, hey, you're a guy that talks about the stuff that we do. How about, and you got 3,000 subscribers, why don't I just give you this code and you can offer it to your guys? Anyone who buys, I'll send you your commission, whatever it is. And that way he doesn't even have to join your system until he can decide he cares to. You get the idea? How's that for cool? All right, pretty much covered that. Have I got all this stuff? I think so. Yeah. All right. I think that pretty much covers everything for forms out of the site. They're not contact forms or the input data managed by T2HA. Okay, Jeremiah, let me put you on real quick. You can ask me, or you can just ask me more words. Yeah, I don't know if you have a speaker. If you do, a microphone. Hey, Jeremiah.
Yes. Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
go ahead.
Yes. What I was curious about was the forms. I noticed that I saw the contact forms, but I also know that you could make some more lead generation forms. What I was curious about was how do we manage the input data, or what someone puts the information into that form? Where do we manage that at? Our own MySQL database, or does T2H have its database that manages the form inputs?
Uh-huh. Okay, we don't have a newsletter system built in. We don't, because the newsletter systems that exist are just awesome anyway, and we just thought, why reinvent that wheel? We weren't going to spend time programming that unless,
Mm-hmm.
there ever comes that time. Aweber's great. It's cheap, and they give you code snippets. Great. Put the code snippets into your pages. Just paste them in wherever you want, all over the website, and it'll work. Put them in the sidebar, put them in the pages, put them in, on the front page, on the side pages, wherever you want it to be. Stick in the footer, you know. The point is, though, you can just, any code snippet from anywhere, you can just paste it in.
Okay.
Dealing with the source code of a website is simple, right? If I go back to this, let me see that one thing. If I want to deal with the source code, right, where could I put like a code snippet? Okay, any box like this, like in the footer, I can just add to it. I can put my code snippet above or below this whole thing. This is using global
Mm-hmm.
variables, right? That means that all these
Mm-hmm.
variables here are reading from the global variable tab, right? Right here. And I can create global variables at will and just seed them all throughout this entire system. And that way, if I ever need to change the name of the company, I change it in one place right here. I just edit it right here and update it. Change the phone number, the email, whatever it is, right? Edit,
Mm-hmm.
update. Then I'm ready to export it to that guy. You get it? So it actually updates that guy's information on the entire thing. That's how we can take one website and suddenly make it for another company, and then make another one for another company another state over, make another one for another company in San Francisco, another one in Atlanta. And the point of the bulk export is to be able to do this automatically, as many as you want, whether you're doing it to benefit you, benefit others, or whatever. Coming back to you, though, where are the places that you can put it in? Anywhere that's got a source code button in here, just flip to source code, and it's literally paste in your code snippet right here, flip back, it's in, hit update, boom, done. On the pages, identical. Go to the pages, go to a page. You want to stick it in here, source button, boom. And then just paste it in wherever your code snippet, wherever you would like it to be, make room for it, put it in, update it, go check out that page. This is what these arrows for. You can just instantly check that page out, right? And see if it's doing what it was supposed to do, if you like it, if you want to change it. All this stuff, by the way, is controllable. The color here, the font, the color there, the hover color. When you hover over this is controllable in the admin panel, and it becomes part of the variability. You can create 1,000 pages and they can all have a different color when you hover over the home button. Isn't that wild? Just automatically controllable that way. You can flip pages on and off. You can flip the contact page off just on purpose for a particular website because you would need it on that website for whatever reason. You can do that. If a guy says, I want something, I don't want something, you can just have extra pages as defaults, and that way you can just make everything the way somebody wants it, you know. Where else can you put a code snippet? In the sidebar. You can go to the sidebar here. You can either add it to something that already exists, because these all have source code buttons, or you can, if I go back, you can create a new one and give it some kind of a name, decide whether it should have a heading, yes or no, to show the heading. What kind of a widget should it be? Embed code maybe. And then just put in your code and hit save. And it shows up in your list of things in your sidebar. And then if you say, well, that's great, but I don't want it at the bottom, I want it at the top, just drag it to the top, you know, and then hit save sorting. And you just did. And so wherever you have the sidebar on, you just change the order of the items in the sidebar to make sure you get the most important thing to the top. And again, that's controllable on the feed form. In the feed form, you can have these things show up in different orders from site to site. You can decide whether they say the same things or not from site to site. You can organize all that stuff and then hit go and create all these websites that are different. They can have different images. They can use different fonts. They can have different colors. They can have different colors for the headers. Literally, automatically. That's the variability that was demanded out of us at a high level coding, I guess. And that's what we built. That's what's crazy. That's why it's taken time to explain to people just how powerful this thing is. And we just made it as affordable as we can make it for anyone. Because the wonderful part is this: people say, how can it possibly be cheaper than something like MOWG if it's this big? And the answer is this: MOWG was a developer level tool that required you to learn HTML coding and required you to understand how to think like a technician. We had 40 hours of base training before you even could use MOWG, you know, in a way. But this, we don't have any support questions. And because we don't have any support questions, we can keep the cost down to a service level. You know, instead of teaching you so much, we'll just hand it to you, let you look through it. Heck, even the demos, like I said, you can log into the demos and check them out. And you're probably going to understand them, probably going to understand how to use them. But if you need us to do something for you, that's the other thing. We created a purchase order form possible for you to just go and buy one thing. You know, you could go to that purchase order form, and that's on the front end of the site, like in the website store, just to point this out so people know, because we'll come out with a better way of doing this in a minute. Like if I go here, it's going to give the name, right? If I go there, it's going to give the name, whatever. But if I go, I can just say, okay, I'm not getting the template, okay, but here's my name, email, and everything else. And all I want is one service from you. And it could be resize the images or something like that, or create a logo for me, you know? Do you need us to create a logo for you? Do you want us to change the images on a panel you already have? You know, something like that. And we can update all the images. What does update all the images mean? It means this, just so you're clear. We can change this to a whole different industry. If you bought this template, if it was for sale on the front page, things like this will be, because we're just going to keep adding to the templates on the front page. If you buy a template, you can come here and just buy what you want to be changed to it. So all these templates, 75 bucks, we'll turn this into a lawyer template for you. It will be this template, but all the images will be lawyerly images. Okay, that's what I mean, all throughout. Okay, you can have us do a new logo, change the images, and you know what? You're kind of set to go. You want to create 3 variations from it, 100 bucks each. You have 3 variations that are completely different looking, all based on the same thing. You want to take this, but you don't want it to be for plumbing. You want it to be for HVAC or something else? Fine. You want to take this one, this is great, but you want it to be for a dentist instead? Fine. So you can just simply, first you would buy, well, you would buy it, and while you're buying it, the letter starts with an A, so there you go. You would get the hosting, because you need hosting if it's your first time. You get a panel if it's the first time and you need a panel, okay? Unless you have a panel already, then just put yes up here saying I don't need a panel, I've already got one. Then you can come down here and say I do need a logo, and I do want you to change the images, and guess what? There you go. Grand total 309, buy it, and that's exactly the order we're going to put through for you. So we're going to create that thing and make it look like, and you're going to give us information here. We'll create your stuff. Do you want us to update all of your template images? If so, what industry? enter a specific website we can look from to see your, to get an idea? That's optional. Can we use the images from that website? Can we use the writing or content from that website? Sometimes, yeah, because you're going to throw that website away because you're going to put this one there instead. You get it? So we racked our brains trying to figure out how do we create an orders that have the right set of services for people. Then we realized, why don't we just make an order form that people can pick and choose from anytime they want? They can come back and order one thing. We said, all right, that's what we'll do. And that is great. Everyone's getting exactly what they want and nothing they don't. We really like that idea. It's working out well. And people are ordering stacks. I'll tell you right now, if you want to get a stack of templates all at once, like 5 or 8 or 12 or 15, like some people are doing actually, do like they're doing and contact me and see if you can get a discount. Okay, I'll probably be able to give you something like a 20% discount if you're buying like 9 or more. Okay, and that's just so you know. Okay, just so you know, so you can't say I didn't tell you. All right. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let me see. Toward the product store integrate. Okay, working with a couple of affiliates from the sites. Yep. Oh, by the way, another thing that we're going to come out with soon is going to be landing pages. Some of the programmers are hip to create landing pages that are based on this, and the landing pages will have admin panels. So it's the same thing. Instead of being a website per se, it's a landing page per se. And there's going to be a bunch of landing pages coming out. Imagine it. Think about the total complexity of it, having things for everyone nationwide that you can run out nationwide, pages and subdomains nationwide on one or more websites. You build up as you go. You can, the easiest it can be, just to make the point, if you understood the bit about the global variables, I could show anyone a copy of their page and say, hey, you run a donation business where you're trying to get donations to Africa. What about a site like this? And the guy says, I would kill for a site like that. How much? And you'll say, as long as you have the hosting, and the domain name, I'll sell you a copy for whatever, 50 bucks. Say the guy said, yeah. Then what would you say? You would say, what is your company name, phone number, email address, city, state, zip, address abbreviation, and then maybe some other points that you're going to use or not use on theirs. And you would just go in here and hit edit, 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 and then change it, and then update, 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 update. And when you're all done, you just say, okay, where was your website? They either can tell you and you can connect and upload it. Okay, literally earning 50 bucks for what, 10 minutes of work? You could do it on the phone. Isn't that wild? As long as they're ready to drop their old website or something, you can do it on the phone with them, literally. Or if they don't have one yet, they need their webmaster to put it up. They don't know how to do this stuff with FTP. Just export it. Give it a zip, local charity, 135, whatever their name is, 135.zip, and export. And it's going to, except you can't do it in the demo version, it's going to allow you to download the zip file with that website all set up for them. You just email it to them and say, have your webmaster put it up for you. Now, what if you could do that all day long? What if you could just change the global variables and sell it to another guy, change the global variables, sell it to another guy, change the global variables, sell it to another guy, and say, hey, would you buy it for 5,000 bucks? No, not 5,000. Okay. Would you buy it for 2,500? No, not 20. Okay. Would you buy it for $1,000? Maybe for $1,000. It's like, well, okay. If $1,000's tough, how about 3 payments of whatever, 300 bucks, then the guy will say, okay, great. Then you can just zip it up and send it to them. Literally 15 minutes of work. So all you need is say, just give me your name, your company name, your address, your phone number, blah, blah, blah. Change, export it. You're done. How's that for wild? Or if you want to be your own store, we have resellers. Guys are getting reseller websites from us by buying templates from us. And we're setting up the reseller system for them. Contact me for more information. Reseller sites have white labeled videos on them. That's me talking about how things work, but those videos are unlisted in YouTube and they do not mention who we are. That way you can suddenly become your own store. In effect, you could look like this website yourself and people could come and they could order from you at retail, and you send us the wholesale to do the actual work in the background, send it back to you so you can send it to them. Your clients have no idea who we are, and all you do is pass the orders through. How's that? And all you have to do is get familiar with what our stuff costs so that you know how to frame your orders and offers to them. And if you have ideas for how you want things to go, let me know. This package is bigger than the one we used to sell, where one website is $500, but we can still do one website, $500, $495. We can do 10 websites for $2,500. Just let us know, okay, what you're interested in, and we can make you your own store. And if you want to offer supercharging, there's a whole market of people who know they should upgrade their site, but they're afraid to leave their site. They want to keep their site. And you can literally say, we can take the site you already have, okay, and you don't have to lose your investment on it, and we can supercharge it for you, right? That's exactly what we talk about here, and this is the whole supercharge section, right? We can supercharge your existing website. It will look the same as it looked originally, but it will have a ton of extra power. It'll suddenly be HTML5, CSS3, Bootstrap, mobile ready, error free, and have this incredible admin panel with affiliate coupon code system and ability to create unlimited exportable variations. All right, I think enough said for tonight, don't you? I think this gives you a real strong sense of what this is all about, finally, how big it is, finally, how big it can become, where it's going. Over this next year, this thing's going to just quietly be very, very large. When we get done with the directory system, when we get done with the citation system and do some more things to it, it's going to be huge. All right, I think you guys have seen what you need to see. That's all I really had for you tonight. You can always send me questions in email. You can call me. You want to talk through projects? You want to talk through big projects, small projects? Let me know. And you're always free to start. You can say if you have a budget big enough and you want something huge so you can start really ratcheting with it and sell stuff, go for it. If you want to create variations to go on top of that, that's dollar cost averaging, right? If you got one website for $1,400 and you got like 3 more for $300 each, okay, then you got 4 for $1,700, okay? That means you got them for just over $400 each, and they're going to look and feel different. And really, you can roll with them. All right, that's dollar cost averaging. It's huge. If you have a smaller budget, you want to start off with that, come to the website store and just mix and match whatever it is you want. If you want to get things in groups, ask me if there's a discount. I had a guy get a hold of me and say, I want to buy 5 T2HA panels and all of the themes you have on the front page. It's literally what he said. I said, all right. So we figured out the order and said, okay, it came to this. And it was like 1,100 something. And said, I'll give you a 20% discount. So it comes to $892.80 or something like that. He said, that's awesome. All right. Very cool. And for those of you who want to resell the stuff we have, get a template that gives you an affiliate link and gives you the ability to sell the stuff. Keep in mind, we don't have it quite finished yet, but we will in like 2 more weeks. And we will just you can ask, hey, can I sell as an affiliate now? We'll definitely be letting you know. You'll be able to run off and do it. Okay, that's just so I know. And those of you who want to do reseller and just white label, you don't want anyone to know who we are. You want to be your own store, right? With the white labeled videos, get a hold of me and ask, right? I'll tell you what that program's all about. All right, we'll talk more later. Thanks a lot for coming. I hope you saw what you wanted to see, kind of. Does anyone have anything to say? Does anyone actually have any feedback on using their T2HA panel? I know some of you guys actually have some. Maybe you use some now. I know that, this kind of like came really fast, so a lot of you guys haven't really dove into it. Yeah, admin panels. Get one for your own website and one for each client. That's what I'd recommend. If you want to get more than one, it's just to keep the contents separate and work with them separately at the same time. It's kind of cool for guys that want to go bigger that way. We'll create those. How do you ensure unique content between each other, Joe? That was good, Joe. There's a video that covers that, actually, where we walk through on T2HA how that goes. You don't need unique content. You just need to make sure that you mapped the content out properly. One of the functions in the T2HA toolbar, as a matter of fact, is specifically called, let me see, where is the one? It's not the website expander in this case. It's called the article feeder. You put in your article here, and then you create some variables in it. So I might say best plumber in Chicago. Well, you might say best residential plumber in Chicago or best commercial plumber in Chicago. So then you would say that commercial might be a var. So you make this var one and put commercial, residential, whatever. And then you'll say plumber or plumbing company, plumbing service. So then you make that var two and you go plumber, plumbing company, plumbing service. And then you say for whatever the cities are. So then you get your city state list here. And then if you have keywords in there, you get your keywords in here. And then you use mass to create unique variations of each of those, one each, and that's it. And then you use your article feeder to just create those individual articles. Then you just copy the column and paste it into the Pages tab for that page. It would be like right here, and you would paste it, and it would go down, and it would have all that stuff on that page for all those websites. Absolutely crazy. The videos cover it literally step by step. They're already up. The T2HA video, if you want to just find it really fast, go to YouTube and look up T2HA, and I'm sure it's going to be there. T2HA toolbar right here. 6 videos, okay? It's a series. All right, this is Dave. And it covers exactly everything on that toolbar, how it works, so that you can create massive websites in as many as you want, okay? Yeah, it's all there. And the panels are pretty easy. You are probably not going to have many questions over the panels. When you start to use it, it'll probably just dawn on you. Everything in the panel will probably just make sense. If you have questions, probably won't be many. There are even help topics in there, written help topics for most everything. It should be pretty clear. All right, how long does it take to get your panel set up after you place your order? If you're ordering, okay, that's good. If you were getting a full service run, it's like 1 to 2 weeks, okay, is where we're at. Really, it's just a question of how many orders we have at one time. They go in through a queue. If you're getting variations, they move really quickly because that's like a couple of days because it's already built. And so variations are not hard to deliver. You're going to love them, but it's going to wonderfully be pretty quick. If you go to the website store and you're just picking stuff out and you're saying, I want this on a brand new panel on a brand new website, I'm going to get the GoDaddy domain name right now, and I want to, you know, that's what I'm going to get, then we can have that done. It could be the same day. I'll just say overnight. Again, it's just a question of how many orders we get at one time, but it'll be overnight. You're going to have it. Okay? All right, I think that gives you guys enough to go on. There's more that's going to come up later. When you talk about the feed forms, we'll talk about that later. There's going to be a time that you can have your own licensing system. You can license the copies that go out, so you can hit a single update button to update all those guys under your roof. There's going to be a T2HA installer. We have 2 things that are awesome, okay, that are, you know, not just new, like bulk subdomain creator. Most of you guys have seen it, okay? And if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to point this out. This is something we created with before, and you use it to create subdomains, okay? Now you don't need it with T2HA because it'll create the subdomains automatically. But this is that tool that caused our big clients to contact us. This is the thing they called us about. So anyway, we can create subdomains automatically. And guess what else we have now? A cPanel creator. For anyone who has a server and they want to just buy a bunch of domain names and create the cPanels. We haven't put the writing in yet, but the cPanel creator is done. And so you can create unlimited cPanels on as many servers as you want for all your clients, okay? And so these things, there's going to be a T2HA licensed installer that's going to go. So you can create cPanels and automatically install the panels, automatically install the orders. Those are things coming up. Okay, guys, I gave you enough of a taste of what's going on there. Just all I can say is ride with us and enjoy the ride because it's really awesome. And keep up with us because it's just getting bigger the whole time. And this is as big as it gets. It's different than just selling a piece of software. This is a whole plan. You can live in this arena for a long, long time. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for coming. Thanks a lot for sticking it out. It was a long session. Send me your questions, get your orders. We'll get you guys rolling. It'll be fun tying you guys together and showing you guys where we're going next. All right, take care. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.